Now, I've said this before and I'll probably say it again, building a dividend portfolio that pays you north of $1,000 per month every single month on average throughout the year is going to allow your portfolio to compound only that much faster in the future. Now, as of right now, my portfolio, as you can see right here, pays me on average somewhere around $7,800 per month in dividends, or around $93,000, $94,000 per year in total. And even though at this point I'm very far past the $1,000 per month on average milestone, I still to this point think it's one of the most important milestones, just because simply put, at $1,000 per month in dividends, you're at the point to where you could either pay some of your bills in total, if of course you choose to do so, or if you choose to take the path like I did and reinvest those dividends into more dividend paying stocks and ETFs, you're going to have a massive amount of cash balance to do so. Now in this video, we're going to go through some very important math, and I'm going to share with you exactly how many shares you need of some of the most popular and probably some of your favorite dividend paying ETFs in order to reach that $1,000 per month milestone. Now the amount of shares are going to be sort of different and all over the place depending on what ETF we're talking about, because not every single dividend paying ETF pays the same amount of yield, etc. But I promise you, if you're a dividend investor, and especially if you have not as of yet hit that $1,000 per month milestone on average, you're going to want to stick around until the end. So drop a like down below, subscribe, and let's get right into the first one. My A to Z dividend investing ebook has helped countless dividend investors get started with their journey. And my custom dividend tracker that I'm constantly using here on the channel has also helped so many investors stay on track and allow them to see their dividend income in real time. Well, today I have another treat for you guys. I'm not only going to offer you my A to Z dividend investing ebook and the custom dividend tracker, but also just for a short limited time, I'm going to be adding in my brand new weekly dividend blueprint ebook to show you how you can get started with weekly dividend ETFs and add this into your investing strategy. This offer is not going to last long, so go ahead and click the first link down below in my description, and you're going to get both ebooks and the custom dividend tracker bundle. But like I said, please act fast because this won't be around for long. Now let's get back into the video. So as always, we are going to be going through the lowest yielders all the way up to the highest yielders and showing you guys how potentially easy it might be in order for an investor to, at least theoretically speaking, hit $1,000 per month, which again is one of the most important milestones in my opinion. Now the first ETF that we're going to be going through is a growth focused ETF. So this is not going to be a massive income producer, but still nonetheless kind of fun to go through and see how many shares of VOO, the Vanguard S&P 500 ETF, an investor would potentially need in order to earn $1,000 per month on average in dividends. Now, as a lot of you guys probably already know, VOO invests in stocks in the S&P 500 index, representing 500 of the largest companies in the US. Now, even though VOO is not a massive income producing ETF, this ETF has massive performance since inception. It's up over 623%, some years being up well north of 20% in a single year. But again, just because in this video we're talking about how many shares you would need potentially in order to earn $1,000 per month, which again is a massive milestone, because VOO as a last paid around $1.73 dividend. This was on a quarterly frequency. If we were to divide that out by 3, that's 57 cents per share per month, which means in theory, an investor would need around 1,754 shares of VOO in order to reach $1,000 per month in dividends. Now, because VOO is currently $560 per share, an investor would have to invest almost $1 million in order to reach this milestone. But just 1 second, stay tuned. I promise you these different ETFs are going to make it much easier. So just hold on for a second. Now, the next ETF I want to go through and share with you guys how many shares you would need in order to reach $1,000 per month in dividends is my personal favorite dividend growth ETF. And a side note real quick before we go on any further, some of these ETFs are going to pay more and more in dividends over time, like VOO or even like SCHD, for example. And some of the other ETFs that we're talking about later on are going to have more or less of a targeted payout. So just keep that in mind, take it with a grain of salt. But SCHD is a great dividend growth ETF that offers diversification, it's tax friendly, and also has been growing their dividends significantly over the years. This ETF's goal is to track as closely as possible before fees and expenses the total return of the Dow Jones US Dividend 100 Index. Now, SCHD also pays out a dividend on a quarterly frequency, but if we were to take the last distribution divided by 3, we would need to purchase around 12,048 shares of SCHD in order to reach $1,000 per month, just based completely off this single ETF, which would cost around $325,000, so still not a cheap price whatsoever to reach $1,000 per month. But again, remember, ETFs like this one, for example, are going to most likely increase their dividend payout over time, which is going to make it much easier for you to reach your goals and potentially grow your dividend income on autopilot. But now we're going to be getting into some higher yielders. This is going to be much easier compared to the last few to reach that $1,000 per month on average. Now this ETF, JPIE, the JP Morgan Nasdaq Equity Premium Income ETF, is one of my favorites. It offers a high starting yield of around 10% as of right now, and offers a little bit of growth potential on top of that. The ETF's objective says it seeks to deliver monthly distributable income and Nasdaq 100 exposure, but with less volatility. Now, based off of one of the previous payouts that JPIE's offered, it looks like we would need around 2,238 shares of JPIE in order to reach that $1,000 per month milestone, or this would cost us around $129,000. Again, still a boatload of money, but a lot easier to reach that $1,000 per month milestone compared to VU, for example. But it's only going to get much easier from here because these next few examples, these next few ETFs are going to be what I consider ultra high yield, somewhere of around 10% to 30 to 40 to 50%, so just hang on. This one, the QQQY ETF, the NASDAQ 100 High Income ETF, offers NASDAQ 100 exposure, with of course implementing a data-driven call option strategy. This ETF is tax-friendly. It offers a 14% distribution rate, consistent distributions on top of that. But most importantly, for the context of this video, it's going to deliver $1,000 per month theoretically in income, a lot cheaper. Now, how cheap, you're probably asking? Well, if you wanted to earn $1,000 per month, on average with QQQY, you would only need around 1,667 shares, which would only cost around $88,000. So $88,000 invested in this one would pay you somewhere of around $1,000 per month based off of the most previous payouts. Now with FEPI, the Rex Fang Innovation Equity Premium Income ETF, you're going to theoretically be able to reach that $1,000 per month payout even easier. This is because of the 25.2% distribution rate. FEPI's objective is that it owns big tech stocks, which are highly volatile, and then writes covered calls to earn a ton of premium, which equals enhanced income potential. Now FEPI's distribution since inception had been over $1 per share, sometimes much more. Now, because FEPI pays how much it pays on a monthly basis, or at least it has historically, an investor would only need to buy around 953 shares of FEPI ETF in order to earn $1,000 per month in income, which would cost around $47,000, $48,000. Again, still a decent amount of money, but so much easier to reach the milestone just based off of the previous numbers compared to something like SCHD or even VU. Now, last but not least, we're going to talk about MSTY, the YieldMax MSTR Option Income Strategy ETF, which has a 103% distribution rate as of right now. This ETF, at least theoretically speaking, is going to be a breeze to earn $1,000 per month in income. Now, based off of MSTY's most previous payout, which is just over $2 per share, an investor in theory would only have to buy around 500 shares of MSTY in order to reach $1,000 per month. Now, here's the crazy thing. This ETF costs around $25 per share. So this means an investor would only have to buy around $12,500 worth of MSTY if, of course, they wanted to reach that $1,000 per month milestone. Now, even though I personally know it goes without saying, I still want to make it very clear that just because a stock or an ETF pays a much larger dividend yield does not mean that it is a better investment. It doesn't mean that it's going to offer a bigger total return, and it definitely does not mean that it's going to help you achieve your goals necessarily. Now, with that being said, because there's so many interesting strategies as far as ETFs go throughout the market, like some of the ones we talked about in today's video, I personally don't find anything wrong with experimenting with a small portion of my personal portfolio and buying these higher yielding names just to sort of play around with them, knowing that they are riskier in my opinion than others, but still with a relatively small amount of money, you can really increase your total yearly dividends and total monthly dividend goals if that's of course what you're looking for. Now on the other side, if you're an investor that doesn't really care about income potential, you want more growth exposure, then the amount of yield or the amount of income that an ETF pays, for example, is not really going to matter to you. But either way, one of the most important milestones is that $1,000 per month milestone, which I made it very clear and I share with you guys multiple different ways, at least in theory you can get there. So now that we went through different ETFs and I share with you guys how many shares you would need in theory to reach $1,000 per month, I lastly, most importantly, want to hear from you down below. What ETF as of right now are you buying consistently in order to reach your goals when it comes to dividend investing? Let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to please drop a like on it and subscribe for more future content like this. Thanks as always for stopping by, and if you are interested in investing, make sure to check out these recent videos I posted right here.